Alright, welcome to another episode of Adventures of Marr. It's been a while since I've done that.
It's been a while since we've done the All Mages party.
Yeah, well, we'll wait on AC for that one. Last time in the game, Erazem died halfway through an episode, and the party has finally delivered a letter, and they've returned to Freeport to go off their separate ways to get their payments and possibly revive Bellatrix.
Yes,
So first order of business, who goes where for what right now?
My character would probably be taking Bellatrix to his temple for the revival, provided he actually had the money.
And you don't have the money right now.
I deducted the 50 platinum from the party loot last session for Bellatrix's revival, so
Okay.
assume that
you trust this Varian
case,
Astera to go take care of that?
Look, Varian will not rob the party blind. He is not evil. He's only neutral.
So there's a 50% chance of him robbing the party blind. Got it.
Exactly, but you rolled lucky. He is
if he did rob the party blind, there would be 100% chance of him being brogged. So just keep that in mind.
I do not doubt it for a second.
I love having a neutral party to start with that slowly turns evil. Okay. Alright, so if we remember when we started this adventure, 3 episodes ago? 5, I think. You can turn in the belts to the Freeport militia. I think you have a couple shaman staves that you can turn into the Knights of Justice to get some more pay, and also inform them that the letter was delivered. You have that token that you retrieved from that tower somewhere in the Death Headlands. You still need to find out what to do with that. And Korinne may have to introduce Skogan to some people in a very nice bar somewhere under Freeport.
Did
Skogan want to be introduced? I know that Bright's character wanted to be introduced, but
Varian's in it if there's money, but he isn't particularly looking for assassination work at the moment. But regarding the token, we should probably show it off in the CD bar under the town, or whatever the hell it is.
and strictly speaking, she wouldn't introduce you so much as I'm going to go somewhere. If you happen to follow me, oh well, that's your problem.
But didn't you bond so well over Braga?
In any case, considering we have the money, Varian's first course of business will be to revive Bellatrix.
Alright, so Varian, you having the clearest job to do. You go to the spiritualist temple somewhere in the southern side of Freeport, where there's less developments and less docks suited to people landing their boats there for trade, or mooring their boats for trade. So near that dock, you enter into your temple, and I assume strapped across the back of a camel, you have Bellatrix's body with her pockets thoroughly emptied, just in case if you had to abandon her at some point during the journey.
I assume she has her gear on her, so not completely empty pockets.
Well, her gear's in other pockets.
Well, she has to keep some of it in the pockets. What's the point of pockets if they can't hold your gear?
Well, you wear most of your gear on your body, don't you? You don't wear a full plate armor in your pocket.
Do you call a tactical vest that has a plate holder just a big pocket?
No.
Well, in any case, there should be a senior priest somewhere, right?
Yes, there's a priest, a priest of your god specifically, just milling about, cleaning up the place. This your temple is little more than a seaside shack that is decorated with thousands of wooden carvings with that hold little candles before them. Each of them dedicated to a different name of a spiritual deity found somewhere in the lands. And this person, let's see what. Need to write a note so I don't forget this name. Do. The man's name is Master Olg. He has a long, grayed out beard that goes right down to his knees, and he mills about the temple with his back hunched. You don't see around any of the other supplicants, much more anybody that comes by to visit, to offer prayers for protection from the spirits. He doesn't seem to notice you immediately.
This temple is in a sad state.
When you have much better, more powerful sounding gods, who visits to offer prayers to the spirits,
Well, I will have to. I will have to eventually fix this. In any case, Master Holg, we have need of revival.
Revival? He kind of shuffles, facing your way, putting down his broom, leaning up against one of the columns in the shack. He then pensively strokes through his beards with shaky fingers. Says, "Bring the body hither, if you would kindly."
I, in fact, do bring the body hither.
He looks over the corpse of Bellatrix, and he sees the great cut in the shoulder and the cloak that was probably wrapped around her to keep her body less molested by the desert winds that come up and possibly desiccate her corpse further. Nasty wound. What did this to this lady?
An orc warrior.
Orcs are dangerous. I will need a donation for repairing this body.
Yes, of course. I pull out the money given by the party.
Alright. He holds out his hand. Are you just giving like the 50 coins to them, or like a sack of the 50 coins?
It's a stack of 50 coins.
Okay. So
I assume you wouldn't carry 50 coins around just as loose change.
oh, who knows? There are some people are wealthy like that. Because he's a very old priest, it takes a bit for him to properly stretch out his hand and then bring the coins back to his belt. Then he says, do wait a moment, Arian. Then he pulls out a symbol from his belt, a symbol of gold, unlike the wooden carvings on the walls. It's a more resplendent symbol for a spirit god of life and healing. He touches the symbol to his forehead and then begins a slow chant, going over word by word of an incantation. And by the time the chant is done, the symbol in his hands is glowing, and he applies the symbol to the wound of Bellatrix. Within a flash of golden light, the woman's body is mended whole, and she is compelled to draw a breath as if diving out from under deep waters.
Congratulations, you're being revived. Do not resist.
Alright, Bellatrix, you're being resurrected by a neutral priest of one of the land spirits. Do you reject this resurrection?
No.
Alright, congratulations, Bellatrix is alive again.
Huzzah.
Bellatrix
Now you just need to pay
awakens.
your resurrection tax to the IRS.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bellatrix
that's
awakens to see the
resurrection.
elderly face of this priest looking down at her. Good morning, young one.
Bellatrix
Where's the
just
old man's hands?
around. She just looks around to see. Gather her senses.
How long has she been out for?
Around 8 days, give or take.
You nearly passed to the great beyond, young one. I recommend to take a day or two of rest.
Might as well take a whole month. I don't think I'm ever going to Orklands again. They seem rather violent.
Probably for the best. If you do, though, remember the healer that saved your ass.
This old man, yes, I will remember.
You.
My name is Oog, by the way. Be sure to remember the spirit's blessings.
Hopefully the donation goes to fixing up the temple a little and not just booze for Oog.
Booze fixes up the temple nicely. Thanks for the suggestion, young one.
Well, I suppose that's our business then. Bellatrix doesn't have anything to do in town.
Alright, so that leaves the other people that have things to turn in. Skagen, are you going to... What are you going to deal with first? Which
I think her
requests are you
first inclination would be to go to the Knights of Justice and report to them.
Okay. Anyone want to... Well, I say anyone. The only remaining person I think would be Sid. Sid, do you want to tag along with Skagen while she goes to the Knights of Justice?
I mean, not particularly.
Alright. This is Skagen goes on her own, hauling a satchel full of orc gear. Unlike the last time she ventured out and returned to town, she didn't have a bag full of elf heads, so it's probably a less satisfying venture for her.
Somewhat disappointing, yes.
Alright, you proceed into the more noble and more well fortified parts of Freeport. In North Freeport, there's the Marble Temple, known as the Halls of Justice. And deeper within is what is known more simply as just the court, where those that are judges administer what law is allowed by the local authority of Freeport. Where the Halls of Justice would be something between a temple and a barracks for the militant arm of the court. Approaching, a squire of sorts approaches you and bows deeply, and he asks, "What can we do for you, adventurer?"
My name is Skagen. I was sent on a mission to deliver a offer of parley to the Ironhide orcs by the Knights of Justice, and I'm reporting back on that mission.
This was the mission that John had sent you upon?
Might have been. I honestly don't remember the name of the man who sent us.
The page nods his head. I do believe the only recorded, outing to the orcs within our order was John, so I will go seek Sir John John out. Do please wait here, he says before he starts swiftly moving down the marble halls, looking for the Sir John. A minute later, wearing some wearing his lightest of equipment, is the knight that you had met in the Adventurers Guild some week ago. He has a satchel on his back and a purse of coins at his waist. He says, Skagen, how goes your journey?
Well, we did deliver your message into the hands of one of the orcs with his promise to take it to their chieftain. We unfortunately lost one of our party members to an orcish blade from the Ironhides because they didn't first listen to our attempts to make peace. Her body has been taken to a temple. Hopefully, she will be resurrected. But we had to uh, spend the initial payment, the 50 platinum that you gave us, in the hopes that the resurrection will be successful.
This brings sorrow to my heart to hear that someone was felled, and the process of this just quest of yours. If it would please you, I wish to provide recompense of half of that cost for the resurrection. Do bid me a moment. My personal funds are not great, so I will have to go visit the banks at some point within the day, and I shall return it to you at the Adventurers Guild. Is this acceptable?
Yes, that would be acceptable. Further, I have some other information that I think would be of interest to you. We journeyed first to the lands of the Deathhead orcs, as you suggested. We took only one staff from a Deathhead shaman, and she presents that to John. And then she continues. We encountered a odd old monk out in the desert that was attempting to seek out the death heads to try to make peace with them, convert them to his religion, I suppose. I don't know, a very foolish attempt, but he prevented us from slaying more of the death heads that when we initially encountered them, but we soon broke ranks with him because of his foolish ways. Then, as we continued to travel through the Deathhead lands, seeking some of the Deathheads to fight, we encountered an odd tower out in the desert. In the tower, there was some strange king or wizard of some sort, and seemed to be very powerful, very dark magic. He never came out of the tower, and the entrance to it was a black void. When we attempted to we test the void by throwing into it a live duck, the animal was the animal was gripped as if by invisible hands and crushed. It it and so we left the area thinking the wizard or whatever it is in the tower to be too powerful for us to handle. At any rate, it seems to be in control of the orcs. Gave us this small black gem, and she pulls out the thing that the Tower King gave us.
Roll for that.
God damn it.
What?
I heard what you said. I'm not going to repeat it.
And,
Roll for duck. Come on.
Yeah,
Oh,
roll
yeah,
for
I
duck.
should.
Roll for duck.
Roll for duck. Come on.
God, I want this to be a failure. Yes, it's duck time. All right, so she goes into her. Skogan goes into her purse where she kept the coin-shaped pearlescent darkness among all the other coins. She feels like she has a good grasp upon it and great feel of the pearly smooth sensation. And it turns out that when she pulls out her hand from the coin purse, she's grabbing a duck by its beak. Just holding aloft in the air while the duck is scrambling to break free from this from her grasp.
When she sees it's a duck, she's going to attempt to grab it by the neck with her other hand and throttle it.
Can I get a CMB?
Sorry, what was that?
Roll CMB. Combat maneuver bonus.
No,
the duck
throttles you.
The duck's thrashings about in your arm make it difficult to get your hand close without getting scratched by its padded feet, and it soon just breaks free of your grasp upon its bill. It starts. It starts.
It was a duck just like this. In fact, this very same duck. I think one of the shamans cursed me somehow to. I seem to be pulling this weird magical duck whenever I attempt to draw a weapon or draw something from my bag. But at any rate, it was either this duck or a duck very much like this that we attempted to throw into the void that was the entrance to the tower, and it was snatched in midair as if by invisible hands and crushed. It's very. I think you are right in thinking that the Death Heads are a bigger threat to the people of Marr than the Ironhides, and perhaps
they would inflict a plague upon Freeport that is so foul. John looks with great concern at this duck trying to kill Skogan with its with great murderous intent, and he says, "I see your plights. It seems you are afflicted by a curse of some kind. One of my brothers in arms can cure this of you. Since you've done us a great service, I will try to persuade the brother to alleviate your curse for no cost."
Smite the duck.
I would much appreciate that, Skogan says. And if you'll excuse me a moment, she draws out her sword and attempts to smite the duck.
Fortunately enough for Skogan, she just barely hits the duck as it tries to dodge away, and cleaving off its head, she looks up at John to see him just about to draw his blade out because he saw her draw, and then he looks down to see that the duck has disappeared. He says, "Yes, a curse most grave indeed."
A curse most foul.
Yes, I was avoiding that pun. Yes. He says, "Yes, do wait in the vestibule. I'll go fetch someone that is more in tune to curing curses. You said something about a coin. No,
yes.
that can wait till after this curse.
Yes, that would probably be best. She puts away her sword and says, "Oh, and after we delivered the message to the Ironhides on our way back to Freeport, we encountered one of the sand giants well east along the road from the Ironhide lands, so closer to Freeport. Um, we managed to hide from it, but between these sand giants and the Death Heads and their Tower King, I would be. I think you're right in thinking that the Ironhides are the lesser threat, and if they could somehow be uh,
Tamed.
turned to the cause, that they might be more useful helping to secure the area.
Which direction was the sand giant headed towards?
It was headed towards the west.
Well, at the very least, no caravans are due to be assailed by a giant today if he continues course. I think
Yes, we did warn a caravan to that we encountered on our way back after meeting the giant. So they decided to wait several more days before continuing their journey west to DRNS. Hopefully, they did not run afoul of the Ironhides or the Sand Giant.
That is very well noble and just of you to inform travelers passing by. It would do you great service, and the town a great service for you to inform the Adventurers Guild, so they might put a bounty upon the head of a giant that is wandering far from their lands, seeking slaves. Now,
yes, I'll make that my next stop after here.
As for your payment, do not withdraw anything. I am well aware of the nature of your curse now. But you have brought some staves, correct?
Just the one staff from a Death Head shaman.
Well, it cannot be helped. You had someone fall upon your journey, and you had much to do and far tracts of land to scout upon. It would be of great help to us if you could mark upon a map in the meantime where we might find the Death Head orcs and their supposed leader.
Yes, I can do that for you.
Very well. And he points down one of the halls. This way is where I'll have you wait. We'll get that curse removed for you in very good time. After a minute or so, following directions, heading into a waiting room, you are assailed by much of the noises that travel very far within this temple of Korra, the Hall of Justice. Within, you're hearing the echoing sounds of many people hurriedly moving along through the halls, shifting piles of paperwork and pens of great numbers scrawling upon such papers. Temple and being templized, yeah. After about being treated to this cacophony of noise for 5 minutes, a man armored with a silver steel breastplate, featuring a set of scales embellished upon its front, approaches. He pushes back his white cape and bows before you. You are Skagen, yes, the elven adventurer that has assisted Sir John?
Yes.
Yes, I shall free you from your curse. This might seem... Well, this might seem like I'm doing not much of a thing, but with luck your curse shall be ended here swiftly.
Bend over and cough.
He offers to Skagen his hand, and he says, please do take my hand.
She takes his hand.
Is he at least wearing protection?
As soon as her fingers touch the palm of his hand, there's a bright light and a quick jolt of energy that jumps from him to her. But she feels no pain afterwards. The light dims and nothing appears to have happened. The priest looks over Skagen for a minute and says, your curse should be ended.
Skagen will attempt to pull out the token that they got from the Tower King.
All right. Skagen pulls out the token, not being assailed by a duck any longer as the coin passes by the lip of her pouch. Looking at the coin this time, Skagen can recall when she first received it. The coin yet still billows particles of darkness from it, but whereas the coin was opaque and pearlescent before, is now more translucent like glass. And it still seems to be shedding some of that more physical looking darkness from it.
She says to the, what was it, a priest that cured her?
Yeah.
She says this was the token given to us by the creature in the tower that I was telling Sir John about. If he's still around, I think
I do
would show it
believe
to him.
I do believe Sir John went to his quarters to pick up a key and then is on his way to the Freeport Bank.
Okay. Perhaps being a priest, you might know something of this. As I was telling Sir John, we encountered some dark creature in a tower in the land of the Death Head Orcs, and it gave us this on the promise that we would not assault its minions on our way out of the lands. It is somewhat more translucent than it was when we first received it, but as you can see, there's something dark about it.
The man examines the coin within Scoggins' hands, and he says, at the very least, this coin does not radiate energy of chaos or evil. That much is certain. But what upon it does is beyond my skills. I would recommend you take such a thing to the Order of Mystics, and perhaps one of their wizarding sorts can divine its purpose. For this looks to be some kind of magical item.
Thank you. I shall do that.
And he says, and a reminder, passing along this message from John, he will arrive with all of your payments that you request from at the Adventurers Guild for the staff returning after the delivery, and recompense for a fallen comrade.
Thank you, and thank you for curing me of the curse. I shall bid you good day then.
Very well. He says before bowing and then departing from this room, leaving Scoggin to return from the Temple of Justice upon her own.
So she'll head over to the Adventurers Guild, I guess, and wait there for John for payment.
Okay, and since it probably took a while for your journey at the Temple of Justice, Halls of Justice, whatever, let's do Sid's actions this time. All right, Sid, what is your character going to do after immediately getting within the town walls?
Probably go to report that there's a great tragedy that's been befallen the cultural world.
Who are you going to report this to first?
Probably my friends at the bar.
All right. So you do your normal route, going underneath the docks of Freeport into this seedy underground bar.
It's not seedy. It's private.
Yeah, it's a private property. When there are a couple of Prague is dead, long live Prague. Yeah, and there are a couple regulars just milling about in a corner, drinking among themselves. There's an unknown robed, hooded figure sitting at the bar by themselves, and for Sid's part, she has to wait a moment before she catches sign of Melchior just wandering into the bar. He sees her and waves before going to sit down at a table, assuming that she's gonna just meet him there.
Yep, sounds about right.
Once she sits down, Melchior is rubbing his hands together. So, how was your first, less than legal job, Sid?
It was absolutely terrible. One of the greatest artistic minds of a generation has passed. Struck down in the sands by a stray arrow.
It is always it's always terrible to lose some artistic talent early, isn't it? Though I believe
Win some, lose some.
Though I believe you've made quite a few customers very happy. Don't think I forgot your payment, of course. He reaches behind his belt, and after a couple seconds, he pulls out like a small flat chest, and he places it down on the table. Your payment is all within platinum coins, of course. See, I knew you'd be here today. I just knew it. Not the fact that we've been watching things around the town gates, but I just had a feeling you'd drop by today.
I'm gonna give him a look that says, you would be an idiot if you didn't have someone watching the town gates, but
he simply just shrugs and is suave in his ability as Melchior can. And he says, well, you've made Gil and the boss very happy today. As promised, we're not going to send you on any more of those jobs unless you request it. Lots of demand for those nowadays. Not killing dwarven bards, of course. Very few of those around. But if you want to have a little bit of extra coin, well, you know who to ask.
Why did Braga have contemporaries?
I sure
Competition
hope not.
for being the most annoying bard in the land?
Well, there's rarely any lack of competition for annoying bards in the land. Quite a few with loose tongues that might accidentally be severed sometime in the night, but if it's not your kind of job, it's not your business. Though Braga was, of course, the most annoying of them and most incendiary, I think the word is. But drinks are on me if you ever tell me a tale of punching a bard that says anything bad about good Thousand Hands Gil.
Well, if you need any more work done, this one weirdo that was traveling with us might want to talk to you, but that's none of my business.
Oh, is that the case? What's
That
the
and
name?
the
Maybe
elf
you could-
seems to be something of a variable sadist at times.
Yeah, you did say something about a stray arrow. Was that, I didn't know you took up archery, so I assume it was your elf friend?
Look, it was purely an accident, okay?
I'm entirely sure. Secrets, well, it is an accident. There are no secrets. But the secrets all the same are safe with me. No worries about that, good friend. Do you wish to check your coin before departing? Do you want your drink now?
As a dwarf, would I have the inherent ability to just judge the weight of the container and tell that it's got platinum in it? Roll for greed or racism?
Roll praise.
Well, I guess I'm counting it then.
You do the weight, you try to show off, and then you're like, you're shifting it back and forth, and you're not getting any details. So you're like, ah, crap! I'm just gonna open this up. Roll merchant, roll jewelry, yeah. And a quick count of the coin says yes. Every platinum of that 1,000 gold is there. And he says, while I don't disbelieve that you've done such a thing, do you have proof of the deed? Something we would probably put on like a pike of some sort and just nail it outside the amphitheater?
Sorry, what was that? I had to answer a question.
You do have his copy of Wonderwall.
I did take his copy of Wonderwall, and I also, but more realistically in character, I thought I took his lyre or whatever the hell his instrument was.
Oh, you didn't take any body parts?
No, I didn't take. I took. You can get a body part off anybody.
Well, I mean, a head is really hard to misplace on a dwarf.
Heads are hard to misplace, but they also are smelly, and I'm not carrying one across the desert. So I brought something that is specific to him that he would not have parted with without, being dead.
Alright, so he takes the loot and he's like, well, boss is probably expecting a severed head, but but some severed strings will do, I guess.
Well, ask if you want something next time. Ask for it.
No, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I know you got the work done. You're always trustworthy, Sid.
Well, the winds in the desert are hard sometimes. The heads just come off.
Oh, and I know you were doing other work that was entirely sanctioned by the Adventurers Guild and all that. You find any nice little ruins or caves or anything of the sort? We can do your usual finder's fee for that.
I did happen to find an evil tower with some sort of dark magician or nonsense in it that apparently is the patron saint of the Death Head orcs.
He listens to...
At least as far as I can deduce.
He listens to Sid, nodding for a moment. He slightly glances over to the robed figure at the bar and then looks back at Sid for a moment. He says, oh, I guess I can give you a good 100 for that. This acceptable? He says after pulling his coin purse out and starting to just pile up gold coins before him.
Yeah, that would be fine. I would just, nod, like, yeah, sure, whatever. You don't do any business with the sand giants, do you?
Oh, no. Sand giants are not very good negotiators at all, so...
Just wanted to make sure in case we have any more misunderstandings in the future.
Well, yes.
The kind where I butcher your clientele.
Thank you for being understanding about the state of our clientele. But yes, about that tower out in the deserts. Your adventurer friends know about this, yes?
Yeah, I had the magician guy I was telling you about. Yeah, he poked around and rolled some spellcraft, and we got a little trinket from him that the orcs apparently recognized as being of their patron saint and left us alone after that. I did get to see a duck vaporize, though.
That is always something... A duck vaporized, really? Like, was it like a green ray of something? It just turned into a pile of goo? Or what happened with that?
Basically, it just kind of flapped around, got thrown into a shadowy mist way of a door, and just went poof.
Interesting.
I think it was more of a crunch than a poof.
It was the sound of crunching metal as it disappeared from the plane of existence.
Well, I mean, after a display like that, needless to say, you'd probably want to advise your friends to stay away from that tower or any spooky ruins with dark stuff occurring in them, you know?
He also mentioned something about a barrier that may or may not be broken.
Well, that's neither here nor there. Can't do anything about that. Definitely have no clients interested in that area, sort of thing at the moment. Oh yes, something did come to mind after you mentioned it. That thing the tower person handed to you. Who has it?
Knife ears.
Knife ears.
Basically, it would look like a black pearl or something.
Right.
I'm sure if you roll some coin up, she'll probably be happy to part with it, greedy little shit. What the hell they use it for, I don't know. I thought they were only interested in trees and shit.
Well, if she hasn't gotten rid of it to any authorities of any kind, well, you can always inform her kindly that there's a great little buyer down into this nice little bar of ours. Would gladly take off her hands for some gold coin. Maybe platinum if that's not agreeable to her.
I'll keep that in mind. I don't think she's that dumb to go flashing it off to everybody that wants to see it, but, you know, you never know with elves.
She is an elf, you know. It's part of their problems. Alright, so your meeting with Melchior is mostly done. You've given off a good deal of information to proper, trustworthy people, as can only be in that specific bar.
Before he runs off, so do you want to talk to these guys, the elf and the magician dude, or whatever pejorative I'm using for Bright, or do you just want me to let them find you?
Well, if you tell them about this place, I don't mind if you bring your friends along. But if you don't want to come, have a meal, have a drink with them, you can just send them along their way over here. Though, do tell them not to wander off. We know what happened last time when you were checking out the tunnels and you found those guys. We don't want.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't remember seeing anyone.
This is why we like you. This is why we like you, Sid. Yes,
because dark elves aren't people.
Well, the other ones, Sid, not the elves.
No, that was more of an out of character thing with this, you know, with that kind of.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Do remember. Right here, no further. If you don't come
Yeah, I'll send him to buy a mug of dwarven ale or some nonsense code.
You're the best. I'm gonna be off talking to the boss for a bit. If anything comes up, well, maybe I'll personally come topside to talk to you at the Adventurers Guild. They probably don't want to be seen in public with me. Yeah,
one of them does worship at the Temple of Blood, so you never know.
Temple of Blood? The spirits? The spirit people? He isn't an old fucking codger, is he?
I don't know. That's just only what I picked up in conversation.
Yeah, well.
You know, you humans have weird spirit gods and stuff. You don't have the good sense to worship ancestors.
Well, some of us worship the ancestors, but they're not ones that you really readily recognize up in the Grey Mountains, right?
All I'm saying is I've never seen no god kick a frost giant's ass, okay?
Yeah, but if you read the stories of Gil, oh, those are some beautiful battles. Lots of treasure, lots of fucking swords. That god really likes swords. Anyway, I need to head off. Have a drink on me. He says, slapping a couple silver on the bar table. Oh, and do take care. There's that. There's that Astron Imperium guy that's moved into town. Any requests from him to the Adventurers Guild or even to you directly, don't take him. Not a one. Or if you do, just pilfer the money from him and do a half-assed job with it.
I will keep that in mind.
Fantastic.
If I thought I was valuable enough, I'd tell him, well, you're going to pay me retainer fees to not take it? but I don't think he cares enough one way or the other.
You never know with Melchior.
He's shifty. I expect a rat to pop out of his pockets at any point.
A rat holding 1 platinum coin.
All right, so we'll move along to Skagen. Skagen sitting there in the Adventurers Guild. Varian, do you return to the Adventurers Guild, or where do you go to after you're done with your resurrection stuff?
I would like to meet up with Skagen just to discuss staying in town for a week. I do need to retrain.
Okay. Actually, I need a 2-minute break to get water. Anyone else need a break?
Yeah, I could grab a drink.
Yep. Okay.
Why not?
Let's take
2-minute
5-minute break.
2-minute break. Going to the standby screen. Alright, we're back. So in the Adventurers Guild, Scoggin is sitting down at one of the tables there, waiting for the return of John. She can see that much of the Adventurers Guild is more... it seems more busy than it has been in the week that she is away. The request board is filled with a great number of scraps of paper offering jobs of many different sorts. Quite a few of them are stamped several times to denote rank requirements for taking upon such difficult jobs.
What rank is Scoggin in the Adventurers Guild?
I believe, think iron plate. So your little, your token is just going to be a bit of iron in the shape of, I think, a shield. Yeah. On a pendant, something like that. And here you would, if the counter didn't look so busy, you'd probably be reporting that you've gotten a job completion so far, and that you haven't received payment yet. Moments after you have arrived and sat down to rest, though, Varian comes in and. Erazem, did you want Bellatrix present, or did she go off to do her own thing?
No, she's already off.
She didn't want to stick around and get payment?
Well, she used up payment to resurrect herself, so let's call it...
that she's out of the cut?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Varian convinced her to hand her card over to him.
Roll diplomacy.
Not a chance. You have like sense motive 15, no amount of bluffing could go through you.
You just had to quickly read something for your new character. Okay. So in the Adventurers Guild, Varian, you see Scoggin sitting at a table all by her lonesome. And you see the busy environment, of course, as well.
Is it just like a circle of people avoiding Scoggin?
Well, it's not like a circle of people.
Well, she is drawing on one of her skulls. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, that definitely be avoiding territory.
Oh, wonderful. Although I'm more of a fan with skulls that still have blood in them.
It's just weird.
No, these have all been denuded of the flesh and are just the skulls. And seems to be drawing like lines. You see a lot of lines and then writing inside as if she's like making a map on the skulls.
Is this where Varian decides to take part in the other adventures and just ignore Scoggin's existence?
Unfortunately, Varian still hasn't gotten paid, so he reluctantly approaches Scoggin. Nice skulls, I guess.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing a study on the on what makes the dark elf so deficient in compared to normal elves.
Oh, well, that's easy. The lack of sunlight messes with their heads.
Yes, yes, but that doesn't. But does that account for the physical changes? I mean, you can clearly see, as I've marked on this, on these skulls, how they how deformed the shape of the skull is compared to a normal elf. I mean, even to a half elf such as yourself, these dark elves are severely deficient.
Are you are you absolutely sure these weren't dropped on their heads as babies? I hear they don't take care of their children very well.
Interesting. That's an interesting theory. I'll have to add that to my paper.
In any case, I'm here to get paid. I assume you handed over the belts and such.
I turned in the one shaman staff to the Knights of Justice and reported to them. I'm waiting for Sir John to come here with our payment for delivering the offer of parley to the Ironhides. After that, my plan is to head over to the Bronze Helms and collect payment for the orc belts that we took, and to sell off the swords and breastplates and such that in the market that we took from the orcs.
Wonderful. Any plans after that?
After that, it was suggested to me to check around with the Mages Guild about the token that we were given by the Tower King.
Hmm. Where is the token, by the way?
Skagen pulls it out and shows it to Varian.
Can I examine the coin? Do I know why the changes to it happened?
What are you examining with?
Would knowledge arcane suffice?
I mean, you can roll knowledge arcane. Whatever the enchantments on this item are, it seems to be causing the item to have its physical form dissipate. It is presumably much less dense than it was when you first received it, though it seemed pretty light to begin with.
We might want to hurry up with getting the coin examined. It appears to be vanishing from existence itself. I assume the unnatural darkness effect it causes is somehow tied to this, possibly leaving behind parts of itself. But that's
Curious.
just speculation.
Yes, well, as I said, I'm awaiting Sir John to for payment. But if you like, you could take the coin to the Mages Guild to find out about it if you don't want to delay.
I suppose splitting up our efforts would speed up the process.
As you are talking about the coin, though, a dwarf by the name of Sid walks into the Adventurers Guild, having had some drinks not far away from the East Freeport area.
What's up, Dindus?
I'll have you know we're both white elves.
Skagen is in fact very pale skinned.
Yeah, and I bet you elves didn't do nothing, huh?
Listen, I'm part human. I can't be a Dindu. I literally did do.
No, someone did do.
Bro. In any case, Sid, I was about to take this coin to get examined by some mystics. Would you like to tag along?
You talking about the Tower King thing?
Yes, the pearl token thingy.
Every time you guys mention Tower King, the rocks just get bigger over your head. You know that?
Soon we will have an entire star system, and this will become a Starfinder campaign.
Well, no, there won't be a Starfinder campaign because those rocks will fall.
And that's how the universe was created.
Well, do you want to know what it is, or you just want to get paid for it?
Well, I suppose I'd like to get paid for it, though. I think we can get paid more if we know who to sell it to.
And she shrugged, well, that's up to you.
Well, let's get it examined just in case. Then we can sell it. So, are you tagging along, or are you gonna wait here with Skagen?
I'm gonna go with the less knife-eared of the options.
Alright, so I guess Varian and Sid go off to North Freeport to find the Circle of Mystics. In their fucking tower, of which there is no monarch.
How do you have a tower without a king in it? Curious.
Easily. You're not a monarchy.
True. Although I'm pretty sure the Shadow Entity wants to change that.
Uh-huh. And,
Are they ruled by oligarchs? So there's tower oligarchs.
Tower Garks. Alright, so, ignoring that, Skagen just waits for a couple more minutes, and Sir John comes in the door. He seems to be back to being properly armored, sword by his side, and shield strapped to his back as he strolls into the Adventurers Guild. He doesn't look out of place among the Adventurers Guild if it wasn't for his pristine white cloak. He finds Skagen while she's progressing on her gruesome hobby, and he seemingly begrudgingly takes a seat at her table and says, "I returned with the payment," and he lifts a pouch of coins onto the table.
Ah, excellent. Thank you.
He says, within is 75 platinum and, what was in the note? I'm going to check.
Should be 50 gold for the staff.
Yep. Okay, so it's going to be 80 platinum. Since you just came from the bank, you can just get the largest denomination of coin. It says, all 80 platinum, though my apologies for taking so long. There was an ordeal with a ruffian in the streets that I had to take care of.
Goodness.
Yes, it's quite a shame that public order ever seems to be in a state of flux around this place. Even in North Freeport, there's problems of orphans every now and then. Caravaneers that lose their lives to sand giants and worse that are out in the desert. It is a poor state of things, and hopefully we can make a change for the better. Even even sooner with your peace letter that you've offered to the Ironhide orcs.
Yes, as much as it pains me to admit it, it might be a prudent course of action to perhaps turn the Ironhides into some sort of vassals that guard the western frontier of these lands.
Well, if not vassals, at least a civilized allied nation. If we can get the orcs to act civil, we can at least do that much for them and recognize them. Though some would be less forward-thinking on such efforts, they must be made for future prosperity of Freeport. And yes, you said you were going to draw a map for... Well, actually, I do have a couple more questions beyond that. You had a map that you're going to draw about the location of the Deadhead clan's lands, correct?
Well, I can, if you have a map, I can indicate on the map where the Death Heads and the Dark Tower are located. Yes.
Certainly. He says before rifling through his pack at his belt, and he pulls up a scrolled piece of a scrolled sheet of paper, and he lays it out upon the desk. Though the scroll is not that large in the grand scheme of things, it is essentially what is depicted on the map, but contained within this area. That's how large the map is. And it does have words that indicate the direction of other civilizations and settlements following the roads and whatnot. He says, "This was on loan to me from the halls of justice. Feel free to draw upon it."
She takes the pen that she already has from drawing on the dark elf skulls and marks where she finds where the Dark Tower and the Sand Giant were, and she begins to label them in Elvish, and then realizing that he probably doesn't speak Elvish, also adds in Common as the label.
Okay, and can you roll... You don't have knowledge geography. Can you roll survival to see how accurate those would be to the map? Okay, so yeah, we have pretty accurate locations.
Was kind of hoping he'd send him in the entirely wrong direction, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that would have been nice if you got 3 on that roll.
Just circle the entire map and say around here somewhere.
And he says, you did go out to find the Ironhead orcs, correct? Could you mark their location as well, just for the sake of warning travelers to steer clear of such places?
Yes, she marks the circled area where the Ironhides are.
He muses over the map for a moment, rubbing his chin. He says, correct me if I'm wrong, but this would indicate that their movements have been entirely within a great deal of length upon the road to Diarnes.
Yes, they when we first encountered them, they did charge us and attempt to to rob us as if we were a caravan of merchants. We fought them and defended ourselves, and took great pains not to actually kill them. And once we had subdued them, we were able to convince them to take your offer of treaty to their chieftain. But they seem intent upon claiming that stretch of road and exacting payment from any who pass through. As I said, it might be useful to set them up as some sort of vassals that can claim a just tax on any who pass through the area, but not one so vile that it would dissuade all trade between Marr and DRNS.
I did come here to request, to pay you, of course, but to request that the guild set a bounty on the Death Head lands that you've marked upon this map. But if this is the case, I might need to be riding out with my fellow knights to hopefully entreaty the Ironhide orcs further to move their favored hunting grounds a bit off-road, and hopefully coerce them to not harass travelers any more than the offer in the letter allowed.
Yes.
Another...
If you are going to offer a bounty on the Death Heads, I would caution any adventurers that it could be extremely dangerous. As I said, whatever creature is in that tower that seems to be leading the Death Heads, it is quite powerful. I would not. It's not something that I would want to invoke the wrath of myself.
Your expert opinion as adventurer is most warranted. At some point today, I will post this bounty, and you might be called upon by your guild leader to get an assessment of what you believe this thing's abilities are. I believe that's how the guild does it, and they will make a bounty for the appropriate ranks. But if this is all... no, wait, there's one thing you've mentioned. What was it? Yes, you had a monk that you met with on the road that you parted ways with.
Yes.
Though you do talk about him being foolish and such, perchance did you come upon his name?
He might have given us his name, but I do not recall it. I thought him a fool and did not pay him much mind.
Well, truly a pity if a warrior of such kind perished out in the desert. What was he after, by the way? You said he was trying to ensure that the orcs did not die out there?
Yes, he was most insistent when traveling with us that we not attack the death, or that we not kill the Death Heads, and attempt to speak with them.
It's an odd goal, not unlike our own, but their faith in dealing with these Death Head orcs seems greatly misplaced. Very well.
Yes, at first I thought he might be confused and be looking for the Ironhides rather than the Death Heads, but...
If this man yet lives out there, I shall commit this to memory and report it accordingly to the guild. Hopefully, before he meets a tragic end, we can send some adventurers to rescue this monk. Then he pushes back his bench and stands up, bowing his head slightly. Thank you, Skogan, for your reports and for the work you've done. I must be off now. Do take care, and he gestures to his skull. I might request that you please perform such macabre pursuits in the privacy of your own chambers. One might confuse your hobby for a form of necromancy.
Abby, sir, this is scientific research that I am conducting. I'm preparing a paper for the Royal Elven Academy on the phrenology of dark elf skulls and the reasons rooted in science for their deficiencies compared to even to lesser creatures such as humans.
I know not of this incantation that you spouted off before me, but I caution you not to do such again in my presence. I must away.
Do not talk to You're my god ever again.
She rolls her eyes and mutters something in Elvish.
Alright, so John leaves to go speak with a guild receptionist, and that is most of Skogan's business done for the day. Well, in the guild, it's her business done. She still has those belts to turn in. Let's turn the attentions to... Well, first off, how am I going to get Caster into this?
Well, there was a ruffian outside. Is Caster a ruffian type character?
It doesn't seem so.
Did he just ass handed to him off screen?
He's a pretty buff guy.
No, he was talking about a vagabond that was picking pockets and whatnot, and not Caster. Anyway, moving right along. Sid and Varian, you're walking off to North Freeport. There is this great dip in the sandy roads into a walled section of town, guarded by, well, strangely enough, robed men of either human or elf descent, wearing either robes of red or blue, guarding the way to what is a round sandstone tower that has a rather interesting architecture design, where the tower is built up wide at the base and then goes slopes inward and then up, but then there's an offshoot tower that is supported by seemingly nothing, with nary but a bridge connecting it to the main tower. Here is
so a cantilever design,
kind of. Here is the place of the Circle of Mystics, what is their Arcanium, where they do much of their magical studies here in Freeport. Because unlike casters are not standard anywhere in the world, and the Freeport spellcaster culture is significantly different to the more religious-based studies of Diarness or the forbidden-like research in the lands of Court Knox. Here, the magic is a series of secrets one learns and unveils over time.
Are they learned through friendship?
No, it's not. There's no magic in this friendship.
Well, my temple envy intensifies further.
Well, you just happen to be. Look, you're worshiping a pagan god. Why would you expect that you have like a great temple built in this multicultural
All of them
desert?
are worshiping pagan gods. Fuck them. The only thing that makes a god pagan is how popular it is, alright?
Yeah, and all the other gods are more popular than yours.
We have to remedy this.
Alright, and the robed guards do look at Sid's heavily armored figure with some skepticism, but treat Varian more well, they seem to understand why he would be here more than Sid. There's an elven one of the pair wearing a red robe. He asks the dwarf, "What business do you two have here? Are you adventurers?"
We want to answer Korinne, or should I?
Go ahead, it's your show.
We're adventurers looking to enlist the aid of divination mystics. We have a certain item we need identified.
He looks over Varian for a moment. And he says, "I can permit you entry to the tower to see one of the enchanters. Let me send my familiar on ahead, of course, to let them know of your coming." He says, before a ripple in space appears upon his shoulder, and after a moment, a raven appears there. He seems to mutter something in words that are entirely incomprehensible to either of your characters' ears. The bird nods, it flaps away, and then vanishes into the sky. And after a moment, the wizard gestures down the sloping path towards the bottom level of the tower. He says, do take care and do not step upon the teleport sigils without any prior warning."
Well, I suppose there's nothing to it but to start walking.
Alright. Moving down the path, you enter into this tower, and almost immediately your nose is assailed with the scent of many books and admits the smell of running water. The large interior of the tower seems to be lined entirely with bookshelves. Bookshelves leading up to 30 feet overhead, with glowing lights that seem to have no physical container, just floating in the air. The center of the room is a basin of knee-deep water that is clear as as clear as glass. And upon that water in the middle sits a sandstone platform to which there is a thin wooden bridge leading to any of the walkways outside of, on the perimeter of the circle of the tower. And on that platform is a circle with glowing sigils around its interior. Not far away from you is another one of those symbols, and quite a few people are just rummaging about in this room, picking books off the shelves or placing them back, putting them upon floating discs that sit by their side like companions. Unlike the mages that were guarding the place, these robes could be within... The robes that these people wear are within a much wider array of colors, from whites to greens to purples or even gray. In a smoky foof from that central teleport, or from that central sigil, appears a gray-robed woman who takes a second to look about her surroundings as if she's in a completely new place, and then gazes over near the tower entrance where she sees Sid and Varian standing, looking about in this room. She waves her hand for a moment, and that wooden bridge that that connects the sandstone circle that she's standing on to the outside perimeter shifts over to line up with your location. And then the gray-robed woman swiftly crosses the bridge on foot and stops before the both of you. She asks in a soft voice, have you been to the Circle of Mystics before?
I believe this would be my first time here. Very fancy place.
Well, I thank you for recognizing the Academy as such. I heard you were wanting to get an item looked upon.
Yes, we need it identified, and best, it appears to be disappearing from reality itself.
Disappearing? May I see it?
I look around. Is there other people around?
There are quite a few people around, but none of them are really giving you the time of day or really looking your direction. A lot of people are just milling about, reading books, or, well, putting them away or taking off the shelves or moving elsewhere. It's a very busy room.
Perhaps a more private location would do better. We're not sure what the item is, but it appears to have garnered attention from some less savory sorts.
Less savory sorts. Mm. Privacy is a little. She twirls her brown hair around her index finger, holding it and thinking for a moment. Then, after tapping her temple once, she says, "Fine, I will take you to the other tower. Please don't touch anything while you're there. We're currently studying some rather interesting artifacts up there, and we don't want anything going, any experiments going off." She gestures, of course, to the sigil on the ground that's close to you, not the one that's in the middle of the room. She then walks over to it and says, "Please, both of you first."
I step on it. I assume Sid does the same.
Going to look at it skeptically, and then yeah.
All right. The woman takes a deep breath and then holds out both her hands, palms facing the both of you. There's a light that glows from her palms, and then that same color of light shines from the circle, and immediately the environment about the both of you changes. You're now standing on a wooden floored room, and there's in what seems to be some kind of workshop. There's tons of desks lined here and there, chairs stacked to the ceiling that's 20 feet above you, covering one entire wall of the room. There are many strange assortments of items just sitting upon tables within this room. One of which being familiar to Sid, being a certain cleaver obtained by an ogre a month ago. That was sold. It seems to be in the process of being analyzed here. The lights in this room, like the ones out in the main library area, simply just float about without any physical source or containment, but are rather dim in comparison to the rather bright entry room. A moment later, a force pushes both Sid and Varian off of the sigil, and then in that force's place is the gray-robed woman. She bows her head and says, my apologies. I neglected to tell you about the etiquette for this place. You aren't practitioners. You aren't very adept practitioners of magic yourselves, are you?
We're both practitioners of magic, though warp sorcery has not been my strong suit.
In fact, it's not mine either, but it is the chosen way of how to navigate the tower, and well, it gets rather busy here sometimes when we have visitors. Not many of them are so quick to move about as students. You can only drink in the sights for so long before, a golem or two starts pushing you out of the way. Yes, you said there was an item that was being banished from reality. Might I see it now?
I pull out the dark coin. What the hell do we call this thing? the bauble.
Coin, token, whatever. Dark token, maybe.
Yes.
She looks over
I
it
meant-
for a moment on sight. Huh?
I was gonna say that I mentioned that it was a lot darker before, but it appears to be losing mass.
She holds out her hand, expecting you to put it in her palm.
I hand it over reluctantly.
Okay. She passes it over her fingers for a moment and then closes her eyes. Wisps of bluish light seem to flicker about her, and then she opens her eyes once more. Her brown eyes have now changed to a luminescent cerulean color as she looks deeply into the object as if piercing the very foundation of its being, and she says, after the light dissipates from her eyes, this is quite an interesting piece. Where did you get it from?
Long story.
It definitely didn't come from anybody who might be called the Tower King.
Right. Well, you see, what this thing is it's not magical in nature. It has no enchantment to speak of. But it looks to be heavily infused with the presence of a plane, an
Evil?
essence. No. It seems to come from the plane of shadows.
Now that's curious.
And how much do either of you know of other planes?
A bit. The spirit, the training I've received in spiritual arts mentions the existence of them, though it mostly focuses on our own.
Right. Spiritualists believe in the divinity that comes from the material plane, our own plane. But out there exists, well, this may be heretical to some of the teachings of the Astrum Imperium. I hope that neither of you are too married to the concept, but there's no other proper word. An entire constellation of places of existence out in the wider ether of the world, from which mages draw upon magical essences and elements. And many of these are very simple places in their foundation. They have no complex intermingling of species like we have here. A plane of fire, for example, would contain rock at best, but endless seas of magma, and the air itself would be aflame and devoured within instants by fire. There would live species of creatures that are built of nothing but fire, and well, it is quite interesting to others, but my own research doesn't go into extraplanar beings or even normal planar beings. But I can say with great certainty that this comes from the shadow plane. Unlike most other planes, the shadow plane is adjacent to our own.
Is the shadow plane known for vaporizing ducks?
There are some casters who dabble within the magic of the plane of shadows that have been able to get specimens to be torn up by entering into zones of darkness upon their control, but I haven't seen anything disintegrated by darkness before.
I described the pillar room, the pillar, and the configuration of the other pillars to her, and ask if that's something, if it means anything to her, specifically considered regarding the Shadow Realm. Would that place be a portal to the Shadow Realm, or is the unnatural shadows there maintained by the caster?
It sounds like what you're speaking of is this is somewhat a bit beyond me, but it sounds like it's a old ley line siphon from past empires that you discovered in the desert. So wherever you found is a place where magic is easy to gather and use to great extents, like this tower here. But there it might be used to, well, as the home for some creature, and they've simply been using the natural magic of the land to barricade themselves within it.
Do you perhaps have a map of where other potential ley lines may be?
Not on hand, and I wouldn't be allowed to offer such resources from the tower or from the academy without supervision from at least 5 conjurers.
But of course, informational security and all that.
Yes, these are the circle secrets. We cannot just simply give these out. Though if you have a reason to suspect that these ley lines are being used for some purpose, I can send a request upstairs.
We have nothing concrete. I was simply wondering if we were allowed that knowledge, perhaps we could look more deeply into it. As it stands, all we have is one caster using the darkness of an area to his advantage.
Indeed. Well, she looks back at the coin. To tell you more about this item's properties, it does seem to be like a bit of currency made of materials that can only be found within the plane of shadows. Some shadow essence stone or metal, perhaps. Though, curiously, items like this aren't supposed to be naturally appearing in this plane. Most likely, the world itself would be trying to reject any creature that would be present from the Shadow Realm. Much like this coin, they'd just be slowly disappearing, and as soon as you leave your eyes off of them, they just vanish entirely without a source that can keep them here. Much like any conjured being, in fact, if you've ever dabbled within that.
We've been afflicted by a conjured being before.
Is that so? Though this item is fleeting, we can offer you a small sum of gold to take it off your hands so you might be able to study it while it naturally passes.
I look at Korinne. You mentioned something about your own contacts?
If you want to get paid for it. How much they offering? It might even be worth it to go somewhere else if they're only offering a small pittance, you know.
Yeah.
If they're offering a lot, then you can go for the highest bidder.
True. So, how much are you offering for the dark token?
Well, I myself can only offer what is was within my own savings, 100 gold at most.
Hmm. If I remember correctly, the other guys were offering something in the realms of platinum. So let's let's visit your contacts, Korinne. This coin clearly belongs to them.
That's what you want, sure.
Yeah.
How disappointing that. Could I persuade you further? Anything else? I cannot provide money, but the pursuit of sciences is quite a noble goal to advance towards, is it not?
That may be so, but I doubt you'll have much use of the token. You already mentioned you know of the materials it's made of, and I'm sure someone who's actually specialized in studying the plane of shadows would know even more. I doubt any actual science could be conducted with the coin.
Well, the materials themselves we can't actually get into this plane of existence, but to see a sample of these in ourselves is, well, it's something only the Archmage could possibly access if he felt like transporting to other realms.
You said the shadow plane's next door to ours, right?
Essentially, yes. From what I remember reading, the plane of shadow is kind of like a sister to our realm. It's a much more compact plane that is a mockery of sorts of our own. You could travel you can travel a mile within that plane and easily pass 10 or maybe 20 of our own measurements here.
How difficult would it be to open a door between the planes?
Oh, you'd have to be a most legendary spellcaster to do that on your own. A ritual of that sort is almost unheard of, and well, such magic would eventually be interfered upon by those from a lawful plane if they heard of it.
Is it possible one could permanently rip a door open between the plane?
I'll be right back.
It would require immense amounts of power and some great amount of resources for a group of people to do so.
If someone did, would it be easier to close the rift, or would it be easier just to wall it off?
She thinks for a minute. She says, like I said, warping space isn't part of my expertise. I only know the basics of it to maneuver the teleport sigils here. I suppose it would be easier to seal it with a barrier of some kind, rather than close it permanently. Because to close it permanently, one would maybe a caster akin to, well, the skill and magic of whatever force is keeping that gate open.
I don't suppose there's anyone here with a specific vested interest in the shadow plane, is there?
There would not, but if you'd like, I can ask around and see about getting an expert for you.
Just curious.
Is that so?
Listen, I'm considering the coin now. Perhaps we could trade it to you if you were to put in that request for a map of the ley lines.
I'm afraid this map, a map of the ley lines, is a greatly guarded secret within the Mystics. We can't simply offer it for this, no matter how much of a academic find it is.
What a shame.
The secrets of magic, of course, must be guarded from those that would attempt to use it to ill ends. Not that we think that you would use it for ill ends, but we can't be too careful.
But of course.
Now, shall I bring you back down to the ground level?
Yes. Should we come across any more of this shadow substance, we will probably bring it here. This coin in particular, however, had some other value to it, not just in its construction.
She tilts her head to one side and asks, aside from academic purposes, what purpose would a coin made of shadow have to those of the outside world?
The caster we took it from claimed it was a sign of recognition among those he's in contact with. If it were not for that, we would gladly part with it.
I know not what recognition you have to offer, well, what to gain from that, but I do hope that you have the best with it, and take care, it is unstable. If it ever leaves your sight in the next few days, you're unlikely to see it again.
Right.
Just like the duck, disappears when you're not looking at it.
Do we have any sort of wrapping so I can wear this thing as a monocle? To never have it leave my sight.
Nope. And with your consent, she moves you over to the teleport sigil and sends you back to the ground floor. And then once more, you are shunted back into the great library room of the tower.
This has been most helpful. I hope we can work together in the future.
Likewise.
Back to whatever seedy bar Korinne crawled out of.
It's where I go to get my dwarven delicacies.
Do you want
I
to
assume
pick
it
up
has to be
Skagen
seedy
first?
for it to be. I suppose we should.
So, Duck, is your character still in the Adventurers Guild?
No, after receiving payment, she headed over to, I believe it was the Bronze Helms that gave the bounty on the Orc Belts.
Yeah, this would be the Freeport Militia. Would be another name for them.
Yeah, so she heads over to them to turn in the belts for the reward, and then she's going to head to the market area to sell off the swords and breastplates and other
Other
weapons that
things that
we
you've
took off
got.
the orcs.
Okay. All right, and you come over to the office headquarters for the militia, and you are led inside with little harassment. Within here, things seem much more relaxed and far less tense than things were at the Adventurers Guild. Not that you paid the crowds of people any mind as they squabbled for jobs at the Adventurers Guild, especially the job board. Here, though, shortly you are met with one of Tybalt's lieutenants, who comes up to you and says, Scoggin, yes, you're back from your trek out in the desert. Did you bring signs of your bounty completion?
Yes, we managed to collect 14 belts off of orcs that we wish to turn in. Unfortunately, we had to turn back early as one of our party members was felled by the foul creatures, and we brought her back to be resurrected.
Oh, that is grave news indeed. But how fortuitous that you had the funds to bring your member back. Hold on a moment, and I'll come back with coin and Tybalt's gratitude towards you. He says before gesturing for Scoggin to stay a moment, and then he leaves into a back room. Coming back, he has a small pouch that he offers you. 140 coins for 14 belts.
Thank you very much. And she dumps the belts out of her handy haversack.
Right. He says, and thank you for the kills. Your service is most valuable to Freeport.
Thank you for the opportunity. I only regret that we had to cut our expedition short.
Well, there's always next time. The bounty is still up.
Thank you. She bids him good day and takes the coins.
All right. Let's see. I think we'll continue for another 10 minutes. Scoggin, where is your character going to return to?
From here, she'll head over to the market to sell off the weapons and such.
All right. And you had what amounts? You can easily sell them for half of their values.
All right.
All right. And Varian and Sid, are your characters are going back to the Adventurers Guild to wait on Scoggin?
Is Scoggin even gonna show up back to the Adventures Guild? Possibly.
It's either there or the salty dog. Who knows?
Does Scoggin know the location of the salty dog? Right?
Yes, because that's where her usual room is, where she cleans her skulls and.
Oh, right. How hasn't she been kicked out yet?
It is a very permissive tavern. It's like the name implies. It's not very high scale. It,
Well,
in fact, is
considering
probably a little bit better than your temple.
fuck you. Well, considering you have absolutely zero idea where she's actually gonna be, let's head to deliver the coin first before it disappears.
Okay. All right. So Sid leads. Sid leads Varian in the eastern side of Freeport. It appears that she's leading you back to the Salty Dog, but before you start moving towards the tavern where you heard the leader was going to be staying last, or we heard the leader and most of the party were staying and drinking after jobs last. She instead guides you further on to the docks. She takes you down below, downstairs to a near water level dock to bring you into a warehouse. The warehouse seems empty, gloomy, and dark, but she just guides you to a portion of wall that she has to hit a lever and opens up to a more to a desolate tunnel. Following the tunnel for a good 50 feet, you find yourself in a more establishment-like location, where the walls are stucco and the floor is made of wood, and there's a smell of cleansing booze in the air. There are quite a few people. There are about 5 people sitting around one table in the bar's center, playing some game where they stab daggers between their fingers, and they seem to be accruing coins. A couple of them have wounded fingers in the course of playing this game, but someone else has seemed to have accrued quite the bit of wealth over playing this, wealth of silver. At the bar table,
Not even gambling for gold.
well, these people are ruffians. They're not going to be trading gold coins for stabbing themselves. Yes, and at the bar table is there's a human man with a darkened plate and a oversized sword on his back, and next to him is an elderly man wearing a darkened robe. From a side room out walks a shifty-looking man with a hood that's detached from any cloak, wearing leather armor that approaches both Sid and Varian with his arms spread out wide. Ah, friends, welcome. Sid, is this one of the friends you wish to introduce to me? I thought your elf friend was a woman.
Half elf, I'll have you know.
Half woman, then?
Completely male, thank you very much.
I'm not going to examine that.
Why, you seem like that guy would be interested.
Well, aren't you charming? Sid, is this the friend that you wanted me to meet? Or that wanted to meet us, rather? Korinne, are you here?
Sorry, I wasn't pushing my button. Yeah.
Sorry.
So since he's coming out and asking me directly, I would just go ahead and say like, yeah, here's Temple of Blood, man.
Blood Temple.
What a wonderful introduction. What a wonderful introduction.
Oh, so what has Sid told you about our little business down here? She just wanted to show you a nice little out of the way place for some drinks, I guess.
Told me nothing. Implied heavily quite a few things.
Oh, you know how Sid is. Incredibly, he stops
Discreet?
his words. Discreet, yes. Those are the words I'd use. Or word, yes, that's the word I'd use to describe Sid. Yes, we heard you had something of value that you might want to sell for a decent sum of coin.
I pull out the dark coin token thing.
He approaches, putting his hand over it, looking shiftily at any of the other people that might be watching in the bar, and he said, "Good sir, how about we do this exchange in one of the back rooms? If you'd follow me, please." He steps back and gestures to one of the rooms that he just left. He leads you into a smaller wooden room. Though the smell of dirt is more abundant without the presence of liquor nearby. He closes the door behind him and says, "Do please sit," as he gestures to a table in a room that's otherwise barren of furnishings. The lone exception being a shelf that has just one measly candle sitting upon it.
Very edgy.
Edgy, good sir?
Don't worry about it.
I shan't. He moves over to sit at the table. He says, "This coin of yours, it is quite the collector's item. I believe I already have a buyer set aside from it when Sid told me of it. We can take it off your hands for 500 gold. Would that suffice?"
I don't have a good enough diplomacy to get him to do it higher, do I?
Neither of you do.
Should we try anyways, though?
I mean, you can try.
Fuck it. I'm thinking a little higher.
Almost.
A little more, I think.
Yeah, just a bit more, you know.
Do you want to
Finally, a reasonable sum.
Do you want to aid his diplomacy roll, Korinne? If you roll above 15 with your diplomacy, you can add +2 to his.
Well, worth the shot, right?
Sure, I'll aid him and say, well, we talked to the mystics, and apparently this thing is a one in a life. It's a very short-lived opportunity. I won't get into specifics about how shadow plane they'll disappear. Just be like, hey, this isn't going to be here long, kind of thing.
Okay.
One day only deal.
Do a diplomacy roll. It's a limited. So Sid, you do your perfect Braga-esque monotone. It's a limited time offer. Can't get it anywhere else.
At least I didn't roll a one.
I guess.
Hey, it's the classic dwarven charisma.
Yeah, exactly. And Melchior just shrugs. Says, well, when you put it that way, I think 500 gold would do it.
You drive a hard bargain, sir.
You did your best. I am completely sure.
So, may I ask, what exactly do you plan on doing with it? It's not the type of thing one just displays on a counter, right?
Well, it is, like I said, a collector's item, and we do keep our clientele confidential. But we assure you someone will buy this off our hands if you're very concerned about our financial state down here.
I look around the plainly seedy establishment. Yes, concerned.
Why, yes, we can't be quite rolling in the funds and donations of the spiritualist church now, can we?
I'll have you know, they had a 500 gold donation today. Courtesy of yours truly.
Well, we don't need halls made of gold to have many coins move through here. So I'm certain that'd make the Great Gill very happy. However, we do not need such appearances to burden ourselves. Yes, would you prefer 500 gold coins or 50 platinum? Or would you rather a real heavy sack of silver?
Platinum will do.
If platinum will do, I have the money on hand. He says, pulling out his coin purse from his waist and counting counting 5 stacks of 5 on the table, and then doing that again, and then he pushes the stacks of coins towards you. Anything else I might do for you, fine gentlemen? And Sid?
Wait, are you implying Sid isn't a gentleman?
No, Sid is Sid.
How rude.
Dwarves don't count. Because all dwarves have beards.
And neither do elves.
I assure you, I can count.
You half count.
The only thing I would add would be like, well, you did say something when the tragedy that befell Braga happened that you might be interested in some money.
I'm always interested in money, but... Is this the fine gentleman who told you to take Braga's hand and lead him into the desert on a grand adventure?
Braga was always master of his own craft. I was simply there to make sure that he was able to see the sights that he needed to see to compose a great ballad.
And I simply knew that if anyone needed guiding through the desert, Sid was the person to take them anywhere they needed to be.
I will never forget his greatest hit, Wonderwall.
Yes, that was quite the wonderful tale to be heard among all the bars of Freeport.
For the 60th time in a row.
Quite the tale. But it depends on But if we have work to offer you, it depends on what kind of work you are interested in. You are a priest of some sort, correct?
Yes.
What are your specialties as a priest?
I am. Well, I serve a support role in the party. If anything, the job should go to Korinne if it requires, or to Sid if it requires violence.
Violence? I'd never require Sid to do anything violent, right, Sid?
I am a professional spelunker.
Quite professional. Finds all the caves and nooks and crannies out in the desert of Marr, and we pay a decent finder's fee for these findings.
Finds all the caves and creates a few of his own.
Yes, and since Sid happened to be between jobs at a time, and there were a few unhappy clients that wanted a job done in a hurry, I introduced Sid to a job of a friend, and well, that is where Sid met Braga the Bard. And I'm sure if you really want to be rolling around in coin, we can introduce you into some people to guide about the deserts, but not many of those people do want to venture from their front doorstep. And Sid has made it perfectly clear that she doesn't want to do those jobs, and she's perfectly fine with her spelunking.
Well, I will consider taking a job at a later date. As it stands, I do not know how our glorious party leader plans on proceeding from this point onwards.
Truly, who knows?
Oh, you know elves, they can be fickle.
I assure you that you know much more than I do. You at least know half as much as you assume that I do. And how about a drink on the house for the wonderful meeting between new contacts? And if you're ever short on coin and desperate for work, I am Melchior, a simple mouthpiece of this establishment, and a great devout servant of the god Gil.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you. Here's a toast to potential partners.
For potential business associates. All right, and you have your drink down at this seedy underground bar, having given up the dark coin for 50 platinum.
How do I rate this this establishment's alcohol on a scale of 1 to 10?
Better than the Salty Dog.
God, I see why Korinne drinks here.
Yes, for their fine dwarven delicacies, as she's extolled the virtues of many times while on the way here. All right, and now I think the party will be meeting up at the Salty Dog Tavern, and this will probably be the last scene of the session. Sorry, Erazem, haven't fit you in yet. Alright, so it is much later in the day when Skagen is finished perusing the markets, selling off her goods, while keeping an eye on her newfound wealth. She appears back once more at the Salty Dog Tavern to enjoy some phrenology. And later on, the scent of booze is abound in the air when Varian and Skagen have come up from their ventures down below. Let's see, Varian, can I have you roll fortitude? Okay, so your character is not drunk, but you had been pressed to stay down below for quite some time, enjoying the beverages that were to offer on the house of Melchior.
At least they didn't poison me. At least
not
I knew
today.
what poison.
At least not today.
I'm sure I'll piss off someone soon enough. Don't worry.
Alright, and Duck, how much did Skagen earn from selling all of her crap?
I put it into the Discord chat. It was 150 platinum, 33 gold, 16 copper. So divided 3 ways, it's 50 platinum, 11 gold, and 5 copper each, with 1 copper left over.
Who does the copper go to?
I figure we'll roll that into the next mission.
If we add the 50 platinum on top, I think it's evenly divided in 3.
Maybe. I don't know. So, do you want to report your, well, you did sell the group's coin, so you have to report that.
Skagen knows the coin exists. We can't get away with But don't worry, I considered it.
Yeah. Like you said, a 50% chance of you just running off with the group's money. Alright, so I think this is a good place to stop for the session. It's just the characters meeting up in the bar, resting for a day, and then we'll mill about and discover another adventure for you guys to go on next week. After all, it took us it took us 2 hours 40 minutes to wrap up with all the stuff you've done out in the deep desert. There was the name of the monk in the notes, but I don't know if you said you didn't know the name because you yourself didn't remember, if your character didn't care. Duck.
I, as the player, don't remember. Skagen, as the character, wouldn't have cared to remember.
Okay, so that good both ways. All right, I think that's it for this session. Hopefully next time I'll actually spend a day to plan ahead, getting Erazem's new character in, as well as a new party member that's to be introduced, hopefully. Thank you everyone on YouTube for watching, if you are, and